Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Man, I got to tell you, thank you so much to all the new followers, subscribers. I slacked on this YouTube thing for so long, like 3 years. I started out hot and I just faded away when I didn't see a ton of traction. And I've been kind of diligent for the last month or so, and it's pretty cool watching all the comments, the new subscribers. So if you dig it, please give me a thumbs up and a subscription. And like I always say, if it's not for you, that's cool. You find something that's for you, and God bless you. And I mean that. I'm not saying that like in a southern sarcastic way. So I thought it's been 2 or 3 years since I've told this story on YouTube, and that was, most of you probably weren't even here then. So I thought I would tell it again. It's a little out there, and you might think I'm crazy afterwards. Sorry, I got a mustache hair that doesn't want to stay in place. Cheers, by the way. So, this happened when I was 16 years old. I grew up in a small town in Canada after we moved from Norway. It was the Norwegian, it's not really a flag, but the Norwegian flag, by the way, you can't leave hanging out all night. That you can. Tusen takk for å være her. Takk for sist. Thanks for being here, and thank you for the last time. So, 16 years old, we grew up in a little town, Taber, Alberta, Canada. I go back there every summer. Love it. Loved growing up there. That's back in the days where nobody locked their doors. Everything was cool. Everybody was fairly nice. I mean, there were things that happened, but nothing super serious, or very rarely. So my buddies and I used to drive to the big city, which was Lethbridge. Back then it was probably like 40,000 people. I think it's probably more like 70 or 80,000 now, but still not a big city. But to us, it was the huge city. And we'd go up there, hang out, go to dances, go, cruising was a big thing back there. I got to do a video on cruising because, man, that was a big part of my life. And we'd had our fun. It was either a Friday or Saturday night. This would have been in probably the summer of 1980. So I turned 17 that year, but I was still 16. I came home to my parents' house, and our house was on the edge of town. And the only thing north of us is a kind of trailer park. Kind of staggered, but they're not, if you know those, they're not very tall. And behind that was the slaughterhouse, the meatpacking place, which is gone now. But it was probably a 2-story building, maybe a 3. I think it was 2 stories. And it's just a perfect square. I walk into the house, the front door, lock the door. Actually, I probably didn't lock the door. I just said we didn't lock our doors. I probably didn't. I go to the kitchen to get a snack. It was probably 2 or 3 in the morning because we always stayed out late. And all of a sudden I see all these lights kind of flashing through the house. And I thought, the cops pulled somebody over right in front of the house. I hope it's not one of my friends, because in a small town, you know everybody. So I finished getting my snack and the lights are still going. I walk to the front, big picture window at the front pointing north, right towards the slaughterhouse. And I stared, and my mind couldn't comprehend what I was seeing. I literally I can remember this so clearly. They say memories fade with time, and maybe you're not remembering the right thing. And it's possible, because when you remember something, you remember in the memory of that thing, the last time you remembered. But it's clear in my brain. I saw, all I can say is a craft, a vessel, hovering right behind the slaughterhouse. And if you've ever seen the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind with Richard Dreyfuss, it looked like that. It was spinning slowly, and there were all these lights kind of at the top, right below a dome. If you think I'm nuts, that's okay. You can tune out now. I sometimes think I'm nuts when I'm telling this story, which I don't tell real often, but I stood and I stared at it for a second. And then all of a sudden, I need to preface this by, this is back, if you're my age or around my age, I'm 62. In the 70s and early 80s, there was a lot of like cow mutilation going on. It looked like some sort of weird sacrificial thing that was happening all over Canada and the US. Crop circles, all that stuff. And I know a lot of that's been debunked, I get it. But that was the context. So as I'm staring at this, my brain finally, it must have been, I don't know, 20, 30 seconds. I just stared. Couldn't make sense of it. When my brain finally comprehended it, I was literally scared stiff. I stood there, and when my legs finally worked, my bedroom was in the basement. I ran down to the basement, 16 years old, got under the covers, and I don't think my head popped out until daylight. Now, that's not the only experience. My dad and I were either on a bike ride or walking out in the country, probably a couple of years before that. And we saw this light, just a small light, this is daytime, hovering in the sky, but doing unnatural motions. It just looked like a round circle. And we tried following it. It would dart back and forth, and then it was just gone. So this is following that. This experience I'm telling you about now was following that. I know some of you have had similar experiences, because when I told this story before, maybe that's probably 3 years ago, several of you commented that you had had similar experiences. Now, do I believe in UFOs and aliens? After that experience, how can I say I don't? But my brain just doesn't want to accept it. Geez, sorry, I got a frog in my throat. So I'd love to hear your stories, what you think of my story. Do you think I'm nuts? Am I nuts? I don't know. So anyway, thanks for watching the video. Thanks for sticking through it. If you got to this point, I appreciate it. By the way, this channel, I try really hard to keep positive, tell stories, experiences, maybe some life advice from an old fart like me. I know on my TikTok channel, it's mostly people between 40 and 75 that watch. I'm guessing it's similar here, but if you're younger or older, I'd love to hear from you. You're all welcome here as far as I'm concerned. I love everybody. I say it all the time. I try to judge people based on how they treat me. And hopefully y'all do the same. So that's the story. Tell me what you think. Tack för denna gången. Välkommen tillbaka nästa gång. Ha det bra. Thank you for this time. Welcome back next time. Thank you so much. Peace, love.